So we'll start out with a fun one. There was a big win for the Wildcats in Atlanta over Duke last night. So what does a win like that look like on a national scale do for the university and its brand?
Well, I was fortunate enough to witness that last night, and it was quite thrilling. It's exciting to see a group of people who really just met one another this summer and gel into a team. And clearly, Coach Pope's approach of this selfless play, using lots of players, wear the opposing team down and close things off at the end was, great to see. But when you're in Atlanta, supposedly a neutral court, and you see the Big Blue Nation, and you hear the stories of people who drove hours and hours to be part of it. And, it's a way we can uniquely build community at the University of Kentucky.
And as the university navigates handling the ongoing Title IX lawsuit and newer ongoing lawsuits surrounding the rape and abuse within the swim program, are there any concerns about Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart, and how is the university navigating these controversies under his administration?
No.
No concerns?
No concerns about Mitch Barnhart. Do we always review our processes and procedures and so forth? Yes, constantly. And we announce some things that we're doing there. We're a highly regulated, excuse the term, enterprise now. And we fall under the auspices of so many agencies. And following all of those processes and communicating across the different bodies that have responsibility to address are something we certainly want to improve on. It's our communication across our different entities who hold responsibility for these matters.
Yeah, thank you. So segueing into construction, we were hoping that you could provide an updated timeline on some of those major campus construction projects, including new dorm, pathway by Singletary, and Whitehall.
Jay is going to have to give you the dates. We have, I think, 2 buildings under construction on the south side of campus for the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment. First new building in 35 years. We have a science building, a research building. We are remodeling the original sort of extension building. It brings cafe a little closer to the central part of the campus too. We have the health education building, I think some 500,000 square feet. 4 colleges will occupy that. Gives the opportunity uniquely for interdisciplinary teaching and training. We have the Comprehensive Cancer Center, or Specialty Ambulatory Care Center, another nearly 500,000 square feet building that's going on next to the Shriners facility across from Pavilion A. We also have improvements in the Whitehall classroom, and I'm going to let Jay give you every one of those dates. They get into 26 and 27. Okay. I can't remember the months within those years.
Thank you.
And I don't want to go any further without noting, as we've done before, in nearly $6 billion of construction over the last decade, we like to do it in ways such that we don't have to pass on costs to those who turn to us, whether it be students or patients. So less than 2% of our revenues are spent on retiring debt. So imagine, if you had a household budget and you only spent 2% of your income every month on the mortgage on your home, I think most people would say that is prudent. So that's what we're trying to do. And for many of the buildings that I just mentioned, we are grateful for significant support from the legislature and the governor.
And how does the university feel construction is moving along at the historic Memorial Coliseum? Is it expected to be completed this year?
So if you've been inside Memorial Coliseum, it's substantially completed. We're able to hold athletic events there. It's an incredible venue. When I arrived here, I was surprised to learn that it wasn't even air conditioned. So that's one improvement. And then I really so look forward to the completion of the external part of the building. One of the more moving spaces I visit on campus included Memorial Coliseum. The names of now 12,127 Kentuckians who gave their lives in World War II and subsequent conflicts. Think of that. Traveled around the globe to defend freedom and protect democracy. People your age were cut down. And I've had the opportunity to get to know some of those families on the exterior of the building now. It used to be that their names were inscribed on almost like parchment sheets within enclosed glass cabinets. And over time, they were harder to read. Now, those 12,127 names will be on 24, really, I would call them big monuments or tablets outside of the building. A place for, I think, families to show reverence, pause, pray. And I hope for those who visit this campus, it is a reminder of what Kentuckians did when they were called upon. So I really look forward to that. I think we'll be able to celebrate all that in the spring.
Awesome, thank you. Next, we will segue into safety and some of the concerns. We know that you all have been partnered with Allied Universal and have implemented some of those new strategies. So even after some of those additional safety measures added to North Campus, just this weekend, a day after those new measures, a UK student was jumped less than a block away from campus, right behind Chipotle on Jersey Street. And so we're curious as to how the additional floodlights on Winslow are acting as a deterrent to crime.
Sure. Well, there's several things we're doing in that area, and we do it in partnership because some of those areas fall just outside of our jurisdiction. So we need to work with Lexington city government and police, and we are. We have increased patrols on the weekends, especially from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. We have additional lighting that you noted, and there is more of a physical presence on the way. And something else is the parking decks in that area used to really be open to any and everyone on the weekends. Now they'll only be open to, our students and those with permits. So it's an area that will be less convenient to access. And I know Lexington is investigating that particular case, as we do every one of them. We communicate across our police departments. If we need to take additional steps, we certainly will.
And
excuse me, that also includes working with the owners of the venues.
And going more into safety, there has been a noted rise in reported sexual assaults on campus, with the crime log indicating 28 sex offenses. Yet, students only received 4 crime bulletins for sexual assault. Can you explain this discrepancy and why students weren't informed about every one of these incidents?
I'm going to let Jay share with you after this these exact numbers, because and we will share with you the protocol we use for reporting. And it's context driven, depending if other individuals are in threat of harm. So that protocol is one we really respect. It also follows some regulations like those you may find in the Clery law.
Yeah, I think that's where our main curiosity is given those regulations of the Clery Act, why some sex offenses are announced to campus while others are not, and I think that's what Jay would talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. So same on that topic, is ResLife specifically doing anything to address that rise and safety within dorms?
Yes, and historically, I think one could say those have been underreported. In some ways, I'm encouraged that people are reporting. I think it heightens awareness on our campus. In many cases, as you've seen in some of the notifications we've made, individuals know one another. The advice that ResLife and other entities give about consent and safety, many are associated with alcohol consumption. I hope our efforts, these notifications and others, are heightening the awareness.
Okay, transitioning into some of the tuition acknowledgements and some of the new, like with the back-to-back record-breaking student enrollment numbers, students are curious on why the tuition continues to increase and where some of that money is going.
Sure. So, if you look over the last decade, you will see a really continuous decline in the rate of increase in our tuition. And Jay, over the last 4 years, the rolling average is what, 2%?
Yeah.
I think most people would recognize that's far under inflation. We have tried to keep those increases down. At the same time, the amount of financial aid or support we direct to students has gone up. Our UK Leads program, which many around the country are taking a look at, adopting, mimicking, where we target financial aid for those of the lowest income, has been increased. And you know, the intent of all that was to heighten student success. We have a 6-year graduation rate that's only for freshmen who enter in the first semester. If you transfer in, you're not counted in that definition, but it's the one used across the country. We're over 71% now, puts us in the top 100 universities of our type. And our 4-year graduation rate has gone up 30 percentage points compared to 15 years ago. So I'm really grateful to our campus, and that's faculty, staff, and students. No one unit, no one college, no one administrative office can move numbers like that. It takes a collective effort. And I think it shows that we care about our students and their future. So with gratitude, I share those numbers. And I also like to point out, we didn't do it the easy way. The easy way to move your numbers is, make certain that everybody you admit is excessively academically prepared in a way, or is not at financial risk. We didn't do that, especially for Kentuckians. We kept our doors open wide. Just like over a decade ago, more than 25% of our students are first generation. 25% come from families whose median family income is probably around $26,000. We've kept our doors open wide, and at the same time increased the success of our students in terms of retention and graduation rates.
And moving on to parking. Parking is also a frequent concern among students all over campus, especially as the construction reduces the available spaces. What steps are being taken to ensure sufficient parking for students, faculty, and staff?
And patience. We have tens of thousands of people who come here every day looking for care, healing, and hope. One of the things we are doing, it's a 2,400 space parking deck that'll be next to the parking deck across from the hospital. It'll be behind that new subspecialty ambulatory care facility that's being constructed. And, that adds to the demand for parking on campus. We hope it decompresses some other spaces. Anytime we have had to decommission space, we look for opportunities to capture more space, to replace. We also recognize that to keep pedestrians safe in the heart of campus, it is wiser to put parking on the periphery and use bus and other type of transportation to get people into the core. Those are the kinds of things we're doing. Jay can give you more details on what particular projects are underway.
Thank you. So what do you want the student body to know that we haven't asked you?
I, especially during COVID, I would say to those I met with, we'll only be judged by one question: did we care? And I just want to let our students know that every day I see examples on this campus that we do care, and that's faculty, staff, and students, advisors, students caring for one another. It's a community that we say we want everyone to feel as if they belong, and that means I hope you're going to accept and respect me for who I am, and that in turn we have the responsibility of accepting and respecting people for who they are. And with all the sort of divides we're seeing across our country and all, I'm encouraged by what I see here. In a few weeks, a very meaningful part of our year for me is our December commencement. We graduate over 9,000 students now in a particular year. That's a considerable increase from a decade ago. So more people going out to do good things, make a difference in the world. And one of the reasons it's so meaningful to me, after being here 13 years, and you realize we have this 160-year history, I almost feel that when those students put that diploma in their hand, it's another generation that the baton has been passed to. And to know what you all did while you were here and the potential for goodness that you all have for when you leave. I want everybody to know we're expecting a lot out of your generation.